Have you ever dreamt of losing your passport or being unable to find it? You're traveling or you need to return, or you're on your way to the airport and you can't find it. It's a very, very common theme. So I wanted to do a little video to tell you about it because it can give you some really great insights into your healing, into your growth, into where you are. So I thought the best way to do this would be with a personal example, because I feel like that's really a great way to illustrate something rather than trying to talk concepts. So this is a very personal example. I just had a dream like this the other day. So the theme of this, where you can't find your passport or driver's license, is identity. You're at the level of who am I, right? So why did this come up for me? And I'm using this example because it's not one of those super common ones where it's not very obvious, right? Where an obvious thing would be like a woman who gets pregnant may have a dream where she can't find her passport because it's at this level of identity. Who am I? Pregnant for the first time, right? Who am I? Or, you know what, pregnant for any time. Because now, am I a mother? Am I a mother of two? Am I a mother of three? Right? Something's changing. So those are the really common ones where some big, giant life transition happens. And that's where you have a dream like this. Now mine was so much more subtle that I wanted to share about it. So my experience was that about less than 3 months ago, I started learning how to play guitar. I had started playing the ukulele a little bit prior, and then I switched to the guitar. And I fell in love with it instantly. It's so amazing. I am just filled with joy. I can't get enough. I literally have to keep myself away from playing in order to let my fingers heal. So then I realized I was borrowing my husband's guitar to play. And I realized I had this download that I need my own. And part of it is not just to learn, but because I work with plant medicines. I am planning on facilitating or co-facilitating retreats. I want to learn how to play medicine songs. I want to play those and other music at ceremonies and retreats and gatherings. And so beyond simply learning, which is beautiful in itself, and I'm thrilled to play songs that I've always known and loved. But I'm giving you all this intro because it matters to why I had the dream. So have this awareness, realize I would like my own guitar, and find a way to a guitar store. And my husband helps me pick out the most exquisite guitar, and not a 3,000 one, the really, really fancy ones I don't even know the names of, but but an exquisite creature that I fell in love with. I cried. I knew I was going to cry if I found the one. And it was more expensive than I expected, but not phenomenally more. That's a factor. And once I actually had her, I realized, and it has a feminine energy, that's why I say her. I realized that getting an exquisite guitar versus a student guitar was actually a way where I was I'm not going to say challenging myself, but the way I put it to earlier was it was a call to me, from me. It's a call to take myself seriously as a musician and as a medicine woman, because the guitar becomes a medicine object for me. Now, as I'm building this case, can you see why I would then have a dream where I couldn't find my passport? Because my identity had taken a shift. It wasn't expected, right? It wasn't like, well, yeah, I mean, I've been playing 3 months, so I'm getting myself a student guitar so that it's mine, so I bond with it, all this stuff, right? But you see how it went beyond that. It was a bigger event than simply getting my own guitar for playing, for learning. It became a call. It became bigger. And so the next night, the next morning, I woke up with a dream where I was returning home from a retreat, which, reference to retreats, wanting to run retreats, but also retreating from my familiar life into a new kind of self. And I couldn't find my passport to go home. So I knew I had it with me, but I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it to go home. So now going home, right? I can't go home in the same way, with the same sense of self as before, because it doesn't exist anymore. Now that I am with this guitar, I really am not exaggerating this, right? In fact, I probably am downplaying it a little bit. I can't state how big this is in terms of the identity, the level of identity. It's challenging, actually, which is why your dreams are always going to point out things that are at the leading edge of your growth and evolution. They're never going to just tell you something you already know or something that's obvious. They're always going to be pointing to something that's bigger than you think. So I think I'll stop here. I'm very curious, if you've made it this far in the video, if you've had dreams where you couldn't find your passport or you couldn't find your driver's license, or an ID card, a badge, right? If you just take a moment here and think about it for a second, I'm curious. I would love it if you left a note in the comments. Share with me if you've had dreams like this. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Much love.